Hey everyone, welcome back to Find It Friday Live. It is August 21st, 2026, and I am with Kelly with EXP in Broken Bow, Oklahoma. Good to see you, Kelly.
Hi, good to see you too.
Awesome. Well, Kelly, I think I heard, are you the number one agent in Broken Bow there?
Yes.
So I hear you're like
Yeah.
the number one agent there, top 10 in the US.
Mhm.
So congrats on that. That's
Thank you.
amazing. And I
Thank
think
you.
that is really important for you guys as y'all are listening in on this, because we are going to be finding, we actually already found a deal in Broken Bow, Oklahoma that, let me see the numbers here, is a 36% cash on cash return, makes 175 grand in revenue, possibly more if you do the right things, and makes about 5 to 6 grand a month in net cash flow. Again, possibly more if you do the right things. And so this is going to be an awesome live stream today, to where we're using the tech to really evaluate these deals together, using Kelly as a local broker and the expert in that market, so that you guys can have confident decisions. And the best part, this deal is actually for sale that you can go buy today. And I even told Kelly, I was like, hey, I might even go buy this thing because it's that good. So
Somebody needs to buy it real quick.
somebody needs to buy it. So
Yeah.
well, Kelly, I'm going to pull it up on the stage here, and then we can dive into it and start to dissect it together.
Okay.
Let's do this here. So here's the deal. It's 118 Turning Wood Court, Broken Bow, Oklahoma. And now I'm going to start taking us through some of these pictures here. And then, Kelly, what I would love for you to do is just maybe give us a little feedback of why you think this property is so awesome as we're looking at these pictures.
Okay. So this is the backyard, that pool. It's an in-ground heated pool that it's a propane tank that heats that pool, and people get into these pools year round. It doesn't matter if it's snowing or raining or what's going on. People will book a cabin specifically if it does have a pool. One of the great things specifically about this cabin, it is a 4-bedroom. It's got 3 king suite bedrooms, and each bedroom has its own private bathroom. And then right there, that bunk room sleeps 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 10, 9 people in that bunk room.
Nice.
So it's good for 9 kids, 3 families. It's got its own bathroom as well. So the kids have their own, full bathroom. So
Very cool. And I was looking at the land around here, like this photo. Does it seem like there's enough land to be able to do like a play set, or could you build a pickleball court somewhere, or do some other like fun
yes,
amenities out there?
yes, where that place set or where that fire pit is right now, that could be a space for the pickleball court. And then I think the fire pit should be moved down closer to where that pool is. And then you could also clear out a little bit more space um, for a play set. So the builders around here, when they're building a cabin, they try not to cut down very many trees, the least amount of trees.
Yeah.
So when somebody buys a property, they can go in, and there's hardly any regulations, there's hardly any codes here, which is incredible.
Nice.
So you can cut trees down, but you want to leave as many for privacy, of course. So
Okay, so you're thinking maybe fire pit somewhere down here by the pool, and then that upper area for more like amenity space. Is there enough room for a
that's right.
pickleball court if you want to do it?
Yes, there is.
Oh
Mhm.
man, pickleball courts can drive some awesome. Well, at least that's what I've seen in other markets. I think is the case in Broken Bow too. Would you say
For
a
sure.
pickleball court would actually help out a lot?
100%.
Okay.
So the builder, not very many builders will put in a pool, but they're starting to do that. They'll also sometimes put in pickleball courts, especially in the bigger cabins. This is a little bit of a smaller cabin, so I'm very happy that he went ahead and did the pool. But the person who buys this property needs to come in and do a pickleball court after, and add some extra things like a real teepee. Around the fire pit, you can put these swings that are just a super big hit. Um,
Oh,
so
like
as
an
many as
actual teepee?
yes,
Oh, that's
there's a
cool.
website. It's called TP.com, TIPI. I'm
Yeah.
not associated with them, but they will custom build you any size teepee that you want, and even paint it however you want it painted, which is pretty cool.
Very cool. Well, and I think, Kelly, we've talked a few times, but I did not realize like you own 11 short-term rentals in that market.
Yes, I bought my first term cabin in 2018 and then my second in 2019. And so I've been building or buying one just about every year. I've sold off my smaller properties, my 2 bedrooms, my 3 bedrooms, and my 4 bedrooms. And so now I've worked my way up to the cabin that I'm sitting in right now. It's a 10 bedroom, it sleeps 52 people. It's on a
Wow.
pond. It's got a pool, a teepee, a pickleball court, a huge sauna, a huge hot tub. The third floor is a great big huge video game arcade room with like
No
real
way.
arcades. Yeah, it's
How long has that one been live?
since April.
Okay.
My summer next summer is almost, it's like already 75% booked.
So
So
on a mega property like that, what do you think you'll make on that?
um I'm not quite sure, probably between four and $500,000
That's
gross.
yeah. So
Gross.
honestly, that's what I've kind of just a quick blurb, and then we'll dive into the property. But that's what I've noticed from a lot of investors. They'll start with like these smaller ones where it feels like less risk, I guess,
Yeah.
and less capital, obviously, to like get it going. But once
Mhm.
you kind of catch the bug and get a few properties and get experience, you realize, hey, I could actually do less work and have bigger properties. It feels like more risk, but actually it's
It's
almost not
less.
because it's less competition. When you
Exactly.
get to like 7+ bedrooms and above,
Right.
there's just not that many people that own those. And you can usually
No,
charge a massive premium. And guess what? It's less work and way more money. So for those
that's
that are
right.
listening, this is still an incredible property. And we'll show you why here in a minute from a financial perspective.
Mhm.
But as you keep growing, you know, you may just want to go get some mega properties too, because
Right.
less competition and way more, juice worth the
Right.
squeeze.
And this cabin is priced very well, as a 4 bedroom with a pool. Um, you know, Not everybody's, really nobody's paying the full asking prices right now. So I know the
Yeah.
seller's probably going to be a little bit flexible. Don't know how much, but yeah, this is a gem of a property for somebody who wants
Yeah.
something under 1 million. Usually 4 bedrooms are priced in the 800s, but this one is ready to be
Yeah.
off the builder's plate. So
Yeah. Well, this is awesome. I have not seen a 4 bedroom with a pool like this in this good of a condition at that price. I mean, so awesome. So now, now that we know the details, here we go. Let me show you all the high level snapshot, and then we're gonna dive into how we got here, and get into the nitty gritty of the weeds of it. So look, check this out. This property we think can make about 175,000 in revenue, and then after expenses and capex. And this is a cool part. Kelly said it's kind of turnkey. You really
mhm,
don't have to do much to it if you don't want to because it's already furnished. Maybe like
mhm,
10K to do like the TP thing she was talking about, and
mhm,
some other nice amenities like an arcade. But she thinks you can actually hit this number even with like very, very little capital. But the
mhm.
cool thing is, we think there's even more upside if you did the pickleball court and all that stuff. But it kind of depends on how much capital you want to do. So we'll dive into that here in a minute. But look at this. After doing like a 20% down payment, which you could do a 10% down if you wanted to as like a second home loan, and 7% interest rate, we are showing, look at this, $5,700 in monthly cash flow, a 36% cash on cash return. So if you're out there saying, I can't find deals, it's so hard, these deals don't exist. Well, look at this. I mean, it does
Yeah.
exist, and this one is for sale. And so, I'm the data expert. I also own properties
Right.
too. Kelly is the real estate expert, and she owns properties too. So
Mhm.
have confidence from two experts that are validating things from data and local expertise that this is a real thing that you guys can achieve too. And this is just one of many deals that we can find. So without further ado, let's dive into the details. So first and foremost, how in the world did we get to this number? Let's go there first, because that's the big question mark that will drive everything else, and then we'll dive into the rest. Okay. So what I did is I got on Strike, STRIQ, and I said, let me pull out my comps here. What we wanted to do is pull in the comps in that radius. So a 4-bedroom property in a 5-mile radius, we wanted to see what do the comps say that other people are doing in that range from Airbnb, VRBO, all that stuff. And this is what the data said. It said, can you see this, Kelly, pretty well?
Yes.
Okay. On average, and I would love your validation of this too as we go through it. On average, if you have a 4-bedroom property in Broken Bow and you just kind of don't have a lot of amenities, but you just furnish the thing, you could probably make about $93,000. Does that sound about right?
That's going to be, yes, but that is also going to be a little bit of a newer property. Doesn't have big brown fluffy couches. So as long as it does look clean and fresh with a basic cabin, 4-bedroom, with really no other amenities, everything has a hot tub here, and a fire pit. Yes, 93 is very
Gotcha.
doable.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. So that's a key metric because a lot of people, if you get on AirDNA or these other platforms, like that's the number you'll probably see, and you will probably pass over this property thinking, it's just not penciling, it's break even, whatever. Right. But here, this is why this conversation is so critically important, because if you just type in that average in the Rentalizer or wherever you're going to go, it's going to say maybe not a good property. But this is where we're going to take it a step further and how, wow, this actually is a good property. And here's all the data that backs it up behind it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, you know what? First and foremost, I'm already seeing some indicators that there could be way more upside to some of these other properties here. So up to 120 to 150,000. So that already has my mind spinning of like, ooh, interesting. Some properties are doing better out there. And in fact, here's what some of them look like, which some of these are just kind of crazy with what they can do. So the next step that in my mind I would want to do is say, let's go look at the top amenities that provide the biggest uplift in revenue. Well, what do you know? A pool, I'm going to pull that up here. There's only 4% of listings in that area out of 178 properties that are 4 bedrooms that actually have a pool. So 178 properties in a 5-mile radius, only 4% of those listings have a pool. And now check this out. This says you could drive maybe an extra $60,000 or more per year in revenue if you just had a pool.
100%.
Well, you know, the interesting thing about that is like most people, you know, like, oh man, I want to spend $100,000 for a pool or whatever much it is. This property already has the pool. You don't have to spend the money. Yeah. It's just there.
Well, can I interrupt you? This pool is about an $80,000 pool.
Or an $80,000 pool. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a fiberglass pool, but if you wanted a gunite pool, that's going to be about 120.
Okay.
And any of these cabins, these really good 4 bedrooms that we can find, even if it's not this one, it only takes a week to put these pools in. So it's not like you're going to cut down, you're going to have to close off your cabin for 2 months to build a pool.
Wait, it only takes a week to put that pool in? How?
Yep. I've done it myself. I watched it from start to finish. They dig the hole, they drop in the fiberglass pool, hook it up, put a fence up.
Oh, so it's a fiberglass pool, not like a container pool or whatever?
No, right. Yes. Damn. Fiberglass heated pool.
I might need their contact for some of my other properties in Texas.
Okay.
Because that I've held off on pools because I was like, I don't know. I just don't want to wait that long. But yeah. That's interesting. Mm-hmm. Okay. So this is what the data is showing. You know, again, unbiased. The data is saying out of 100 and whatever properties, only 4%. Okay. And here is showing screaming potential. Like you could uplift your revenue by 70% if you have a pool. Okay. So now let's dive into this a little bit further. We could just go dive into the top properties. Look, some of these are making over $200,000 as a 4-bedroom. Mm-hmm. So it's screaming potential of, hey, if you had a pool and maybe saunas and some of these other like really cool things, like there's some pretty crazy revenue potential.
Yep.
Well, this is what changed the game for me when Kelly sent me this property. I said, you know what? Okay, since this has a pool, only 4% of listings have it. I'm going to go take out any properties that do not have a pool. So I'm going to put a pool filter here. Boom. It's going to show me the 8 properties that actually have a pool in that market, in that area. And now look at this. Out of these 8 properties, I can see what they look like. This is the key of it all. Now it's showing me, you know, if you look at the average of those properties up to like the top 25%, it's showing you can roughly make around like $175,000. So then I asked, and then it's also showing, man, you might could even make over 200 grand, but that's where you have to
Mm-hmm.
do amenity stacking and experiences like saunas, pickleball court, like all that stuff. So I
Mm-hmm.
asked Kelli, I was like, hey, in your experience, since you're the number one broker in Broken Bow, you own 11 properties. Like, do you feel like $175,000 is reasonable for this property that we're looking at right here? And what did you say?
Yes, without a
Yes.
doubt.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the aha moment for me, is like, I'm the investor on the tech. The technology is helping me understand like there's
Yeah.
possibility, but like I'm still scared, like you guys are scared. And
Right.
so sometimes it takes that local agent to just say, yes, it's
100%.
possible, and help me overcome my fear and have the
Right.
confidence, right?
And I sell properties to investors around the the United States who've never set foot in Broken Bow. And I just kind of teach them over the phone, and they figure out pretty quick that what I'm saying is, true, because I've done it so many times. I just sold a cabin maybe now a year ago, and it was a 4 bedroom, but then it had a separate bunk room, so it was a little bit bigger than this one. But I added that pool, and it was on a creek, and I had a teepee, um, and that was it, and it grossed $275,000.
No way. A
Yep.
4 bedroom?
Yep. Well, it was a
No
four
way.
bed, so I had one extra king suite than the one that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Um, so it did sleep 20 people instead of 15. This one sleeps 15.
Yeah.
So the more people you can get into a cabin as well, the more bunk beds you add, your revenue just increases.
That's awesome. That's it. Okay. Well, I have to say, let's finish the story here, and then we
Okay.
can open it up for conversation and questions. So, guys, be thinking about any questions you have. We already have a couple of people asking some questions in the chat. Any questions, start dropping them down below. And once we're done wrapping up this underwriting, we will dive into some of the questions that you guys have. So, all right, now let's come back to this property. Now the data, we see the data has validated our feeling about this property, right? Now it's not a feeling, now it's factual. And now beyond that, Kelli is now validated. So that's what I do. I let the tech help me find things fast. Then I look at my comps to help increase my confidence. And then I work with the local agent to increase my confidence way further so that I feel way better about overcoming my fear to make this big investment. And now here's what the data suggests. If you bought this property for $799, which, I'm not going to say what you could buy it for, but maybe you could get a little bit lower potentially. If you got it for $175,000 in revenue, these numbers are showing, basically those averages I showed y'all earlier that didn't just like hyper concentrate on the pool. So it was saying that, on the upside, at least 116 is kind of where you could be if you're just pulling in all those other properties that don't have pools. But now what we did is we singled out the ones with the pool. So that's why we have 175 there, which is $925 average daily rate with about 52% occupancy. Those numbers can kind of be adjusted up and down depending on your strategy as you go. Now, I asked Kelli, this is the cool part. I was like, hey, check this out. I was like, usually I have to spend 50 to 100 grand when buying a property. I was like, how much do you think we'll have to spend on this thing? And she was like, you want to tell us what you think?
I think $10,000 would be enough.
So she thinks $10,000. I was like, wait, you gotta be kidding me. $10,000 to still hit this 175. Now,
Yeah.
maybe explain that a little bit.
Sure. I think if you added maybe a $2,000 TP, $4,000 play set, trick out the fire pit for a couple $1,000s, then add some extra games that you can put in the yard, cornhole, horseshoes, that kind of thing.
So really just capital for amenities is what you're saying.
That's it. That's all. This property does not need anything other than some extra
fully
amenities.
Furnished beds, all that stuff. So
Yep.
The main point of all this is like, this is showing a 36% cash on cash with just that.
Mm-hmm.
But remember back here suggested that, man, maybe 200,000 or more is a possibility. So we can go run those numbers here in a minute, but to get there, you'll have to spend more capital. So basically 10 grand to get to where we're at, like, that's pretty awesome. So now let's dive into the expenses. So here, I'm assuming that you're managing on your own, which you could add in like a 15% management fee or whatever. And,
Mhm.
even there, it's still a 22% cash on cash return if you add in a management fee.
Yep.
Now, Kelly, what do you typically see managers doing? Management fee, 20%, 15, 10.
20% is normal. There are some management companies that charge more than that, which there's no added value on the other management companies that charge more than 20%.
Yep. And look at that. If you're like, look, I want to buy a property, literally do nothing and just hire a manager, you can still make a 17% cash on cash return and
Mm-hmm.
$2,800 a month in net cash flow, plus the tax write-offs, which we'll get to at the very end, because that's like one of my favorite parts. So let's just say, I want to buy this property. I'm going to manage it because, figuring out how to manage it is actually not that hard. You just got to learn how to do it. We've got OTA platform fee, which basically means Airbnb, VRBO fees. We have utilities for the property, electric, water, all that stuff. Property taxes, maintenance of the property. There's going to be occasional things to maintain. Insurance is roughly $8,000. Cleaning fee for the property. Who knows? We might need to juice that up to like, I don't know, 18 grand. Just if you have more turnovers, possibly. But all of this you can go customize. And we're gonna have like a little bit in there for reserves. Now let's go into financing. Because this is in Broken Bow, Oklahoma, and I forgot what the hour distance, like at least 3 hours away from it or more. I could do a 10% second home loan for this property, so I can preserve more of my capital. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So I could do like a 10% second home loan, 7% interest rate. A lot of y'all are like, I can't find deals because interest rates are so high. Well, we're going to do a 7% interest rate, closing costs there. Oh my gosh. Look at this. This is saying, based on everything we just did, y'all seeing these numbers here? All right. This is saying you can make $4,600 a month in net cash flow, a 50% cash on cash return. I mean, Kelly,
Yep. Those are real numbers.
those are real
Mhm.
numbers. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go save this report. I'm gonna go show y'all how you can get capital partners, guys. All right, look at this. So I got a full pro forma now of this deal. And what's fun about this, it shows all the details. Check this out. I'm gonna do a little download button here. So this puts out a professional OM offering memorandum of this property, location-wise, shows all the pictures and all the details here of your full underwriting. So I can actually take this and go send to a capital partner and see if they'll go do this deal with me. And the total cash on this required is 100 grand. So all that's required to actually do this deal is like $110,000. I bet I could go send this deal to somebody and be like, hey, you want to do a go do a 50-50 partnership, send it via text or email. Let's go buy this today. It's $100,000 total. I'm like, hey, if you're my capital partner on this thing, let's go do this thing. Oh, this is fun. I wasn't really prepared. Wasn't even thinking about this, but I'm going to show you all some cool stuff. So you can use this OM to go do that. I've already done that twice, buying 2 properties recently. But check this out. If you want to buy this deal with no money in, I'm going to show you all how to do that. So we're going to go back. Here's the full report. You can go save it, go look at it here in a minute. Now, seeing the massive opportunity, like this is almost impossible to find 50% cash on cash return deals. I actually didn't even know it was this high when we first got on the phone. So this is awesome. I'm going to go look at my calculator and I'm going to say the $799 purchase price in the tax calculator. And you said, yeah, $10,000 in CapEx, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's just say the capital partners tax bracket is in this, like, I don't know, 35% range. Or maybe they're in even higher. Well, yeah, let's do 35%. Look at this. So here's a pitch you could say to a capital partner. Oh, sorry, it reloaded. You could say, here we go. You see that number? The total amount of taxes you could save by just simply buying this property
Yep.
is roughly, call it $75,000 in tax savings. So, all right, here's some advanced stuff. Say you go do a capital partnership with someone, you could go pitch this property to a capital partner and say, hey, look, I have an idea. It's a fully underwritten property by Strike and Kelly, local expert there, #1 agent in Broken Bow. It's going to cost $110,000 for the down payment and CapEx for this property. But if we buy it, it will result a 50% cash on cash return, which means we will get our money back in 2 years. And the best part of it all, capital partner, is that, hey, if you're willing to go in 50-50 with me on this deal, so I'm going to put in zero money, but you're going to put in all 110,000, I will let you have 100% of the bonus depreciation. So you can have all $75,000 plus the reoccurring depreciation, which means that capital partner at the end of it really is only in for like $30,000.
True story.
So you could own a $800,000 property, making a 50% cash on cash return for roughly $35,000 total. And you, as the operator, could just be in with nothing, owning a 50% cash on cash. That's pretty cool.
That is very cool.
So Kelly, in my line is like, I mean,
no, that it happens all the time. I have partners call me that do that exact same thing. Hey, one moment. I'm on a live stream. Can you go back out for about 20 minutes? Thank you. Sorry.
So while we're doing that, okay, so here's the property again. Here's the numbers. Just for fun, I'm going to do something really cool. Because I think, let's see here. David had said, has a nice pool, fire pit, guess a pickleball court would drive more traffic. Let's just pretend we're able to get up to this like $200,000 range by adding in pickleball court and stuff. Let's just see what happens. And if it's even worth doing it. Let's go back to the analysis and edit. And let's just say you can juice up your ADR to like 1,000 and maybe your occupancy to like 55. Okay, 200 grand. But now, okay, so how much capital we probably need to put in? We've already had 10. So probably another 50 to 75 grand, maybe.
For the pickleball court?
Pickleball court, another like sauna and all that stuff.
Yeah, pickleball court, I'd say 45, sauna 3 to 5.
So let's just say 50 grand total for like pickleball court and some of that other stuff. And then maybe another 25K for other nice things. So, I mean, would you say more, or is that about right?
Another 25 on top of the 50?
Yeah.
That'd be hard to spend, I think.
Okay, so I don't know, maybe 10K just to kind of. So this is telling 10K. Me, okay, this is interesting. It's still saying roughly a 50% cash on cash because of the amount of capital. So, but your cash flow goes up. So your cash on cash return is roughly equal, but your cash flow goes from $4 grand a month to up to $6,000 or $7,000 per month.
So your occupancy rate is also going to go up. I don't know if that's calculated in here. And your nightly rate is also going to go up substantially by adding the pickleball court and the sauna.
Yeah. So, I mean, you could get up to something way higher. I mean, potentially. So, you know, again, we just don't know. We just don't want to like over forecast, but the upside is pretty high because remember back to that pool amenity, only 4% of those listings have that. But now take that a step further. How many listings have a pool? 4%. Now, how many of those listings have a pool, hot tub, pickleball court, tent, sauna? You know, so that's where when you start to amenity stack, like you become like the 0.05% of the entire listings, which means you could justify a premium for that property. So I think at the end of the day, like the numbers are kind of crazy looking, which honestly sometimes don't look believable because of like how wild they look. And so what we want to do is just, again, like we want to be good stewards of you guys and making sure you're making good investment decisions. And so let me go back to my favorites here and pull up my save reports. So at the end of the day, conservatively, we again think you can make a 50% cash on cash, making 45 grand a month in cash flow with upside potential. I think it's safe to say, right, Kelly?
Yes.
So Interesting stuff, guys. So that's Broken Bow, Oklahoma, where everyone's like,
Right.
"Oh, it's saturated. Everyone,
It's over. Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Airbnb's dead." Blah. Like, I don't think so, based on that. But it's about finding the right property. So before we go into any
100%.
other comments, Kelly, any other feedback, thoughts, and we'll address some of the comments.
What attracted me to Broken Bow back in 2018 was that it's within a 3-hour radius of Dallas-Fort Worth, which is one of the fastest growing cities in America. Now people are driving from Kansas City to be here.
Uh-oh. I think she might have cut out. Kelly, can you hear me? Well,
Did you lose me there?
oh, there you are. There you were. It was a good moment. Like you were about to like hit it home.
Oh,
Okay, you can bring it in now.
yeah. What brought me to Broken Bow originally in 2018 was the fact that this is a year-round destination for anybody within, honestly, now 6-hour radius. So Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, Kansas City, all of Oklahoma, Louisiana, Arkansas. So Broken Bow has grown. There's more people have visited here.
Uh-oh, she's cutting out again. But it sounds like, hey, Dallas Fort Worth is growing like crazy as one of the fastest growing markets in the US and Texas. And these vacation markets around DFW. Sorry, Kelly, you broke cut out again. So I'll finish it up. So that's something that is a major indicator is these drivable markets around these major growing metros are like very attractive markets to be investing in. And even though Broken Bow has become very saturated, yes, it's very saturated with average properties. It's not yet saturated with luxury, great amenitized properties. So if you want to win this game, you have to be willing to typically spend the capital to have these luxury or amenitized properties. But in this case, this sucker's turnkey, ready to go with just very little capital required. Well, cool. Well, let's dive into some questions here. Let's go back to David's comment about a pickleball court. So that particular amenity in general, like, what do you think about that in Broken Bow? Like, how much more do you think that really drives?
I would say your cabin is probably going to book 25 to 30% more with adding a pickleball court. And probably even more so with the pool. But when you have the combination, people are just going to pick yours and not book another cabin just because you have that pickleball court. So,
yeah, I agree. I mean, even in my market, Fredericksburg, I mean, we're one of the very few that has pickleball court, and we're getting 5 stars like crazy and getting booked up like wildfire. So it is a great amenity to have. Let's see here. Melanie said, "Can we get Kelly's contact information?"
Yes.
So Kelly,
yes.
I will put your email in the chat for people to reach out to you.
My last name is House, Haus. You can Google my name and you'll get my contact information all over the place.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
pretty easy to find.
Love it. So I just added you to that in the comments so people could get that information. Let's see what other questions we got. Okay, so David's saying, I have a great performing cabin, but I think it can do better. It's 848 Ruts Pine Loop. What do you think? Do you know where Ruts Pine Loop is?
I do.
Let me see, because 848 or 484 Ruts Pine Loop. Let's see how many bedrooms. So yeah, this is off-market deal. I don't know if it still looks. Oh, does he have a pool here? David, you want to tell us if you have a pool so we can take a look at that? Super cool cabin. So for fun, what we could do is, let me take this address and let's plug it in here to Strike. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 5-mile radius, and this will be good. I mean, I was not prepping for this at all beforehand, and we'll just get raw, authentic feedback on all this stuff from Kelly. Let's take out pool, and let's just say it's 5 bedrooms, I think. So I'll tell you my thoughts, and then Kelly would love your feedback on this.
Yeah.
Once it loads up, come on, baby. Here we go. Okay. So it's saying there's 120 comps that are 5 bedrooms around David's property. Okay. So again, lots of competition in this market. Let me go back to his question to add it up here. There you go. Oh, my screen's not even sharing. There we go. Okay. So this is it. So let me just see what the top amenities are for this. So it says a pool is the number one amenity. Only 5% of listings here. So I think David said he does have a pool. And it looked like it did in this picture. Kelli, have you seen this property at all?
Um, yeah, it's kind of hard to see. How many bedrooms does it have? Five
It's a
bedrooms, 4 baths.
5-bedroom, 3,800 square feet. It looks like it has a pool, maybe even like a little creek or something out there, like a little pond.
Yeah.
But, I don't know if he's like made updates or anything, but it seems like a really cool property in general with some bunks. So,
The number one thing he can do to increase his revenue, because he does already have a pool, is add more bunk beds anywhere and everywhere you pretty much can. So you were flipping through, some of those bedrooms are pretty big. So I would most definitely add triple bunks, whether that's, your bunk bed, the first one should be on the floor, the second one's middle high, and then, yep. So if you go back to
oh,
that last picture, so there needs to be more bunks in that room, bigger bunk beds, built-in bunk beds, and they need to be triples. So
yeah.
you need to add 10 to 12 more people to be able to sleep in this property, and you will instantly make more money.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Because
Um,
if I go back to this and look, because he already has a pool, I'm going to go just see the table view. It seems like the properties that are crushing on the 5 bedrooms are showing 16 people, 16. There's a 13, 16, 16, 16, 16. Well, Airbnb caps it at 16. How many people ideally should be in a 5-bedroom?
So if it's 5 true bedrooms, every bedroom should have a king bed, period. There should be no queen beds in these cabins, I don't believe, really in any short-term rental. And then there needs to be a separate sleeping space, whether that's, if it has to be one of the bedrooms, that's fine. But the game
Mm-hmm.
room or loft, or I've even seen built-in bunk beds in hallways.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to add as many bunk beds. So let's say, 10 in the bedrooms, and then in a game room, the game room really needs to have like triple queens is what I build. And I'll put 9 triple queens in one game room or a separate bedroom. So
Nice. Yeah. So I
mhm.
think the core learning lesson there is overall base. If this is a property and nothing's changed, like it seems like it's a great property and has all the cool stuff you need, like a play set, fire pit, pool. But that tells me you kind of have like the top 25%. If you're in that like top 25% when you could be in the top 10%. And if you want to
Yeah.
be in the top 10%, this is where you just need to look at your comps and say, okay, you probably first need to increase bed count or
Yep.
head count as like the number one thing. And the second thing is look through these comps and see like, hey, do you have a view? If you don't have a view, that's okay. But like, hey, look, pickleball court, outdoor movie theater, string lights,
hmm
putting green. Um,
And
really good.
I will also say too, not all management companies here are equal. There's some great management companies and there's some not so great management companies. There's what I have learned from some of the not so great management companies is, if their owner doesn't live here, the mice will play when the cat's away. Something else that I really tell people to hone in on is look at your reviews on Airbnb and VRBO, um,
Mm-hmm.
because you need to go and check those and see if what might be going on in your property that you're not aware of. So
Mm-hmm.
another big thing is if your cabin is not cleaned and someone gives you a bad review because it just wasn't cleaned very well, that's going to hurt you substantially. So some of
Yeah.
these management companies have great cleaners and some don't.
Yeah. So David, what I would say, great feedback from Kelly. And from the data side, what I would do is I would literally just look at your top comps here. And well, actually, if you have a pool, let me just see what that shows. Let me take out any properties that do not have a pool. Okay, so there's really only 6 comps that actually have a pool. What I would do is see where you compare with your property to the rest. Seems like there's almost like $100,000 swing to the upside if you add in, the right stuff. And I would literally just go filter by highest to lowest and just go study what a lot of these are doing. Like, there's a pool room. I don't know if you could do a slide somewhere, outdoor movie theater, and just go study what those are doing and literally just copy them or do something better.
And then also pictures matter it matters a lot. So you might need to have a new photographer go in and retake your pictures. Doing sunset or sunrise photos, making sure that photographer knows how to edit those photos, it matters a lot too.
Yeah, totally agree. Well, Kelly, we are about 10 minutes over, but this was such a fun conversation. I didn't want to stop because there's just some great insights here. Thank you guys for your questions. Kelly, I am like, I kind of want to go buy this thing. So
yeah.
If y'all are interested, y'all should reach out before I do. And I would just say, like, if you don't have the capital, just go find a capital partner that does have the capital. Go do a 50-50 partnership and just pitch the idea of, hey, it'll only cost $100,000 to get this thing. I will give you 100% of the tax benefits and you can learn how to manage. It's not that hard. Or you could go hire a property manager for 10 to 20% and you could be in on this deal with no money in, which would be pretty sweet. So Kelly, any final words before we jump off? How can people reach out to
you? My cell phone number, 817-658-6454. My website is housecabins.com. You can see all my listings there. And just get in touch with me and I'll see if I can help you.
Okay. Well, keep us posted if anyone buys that. And especially if they bought it from listening to this too. But I'm excited to see who gets this thing and takes it live. So
me too.
Kelly, thank you for joining. We will talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.